Okay, today we're going to tie a caddis pupa. In the vise I've got a Camasan B420. It's a sedge hook, or caddis hook. And for thread I'm going to use Vivis 12 I think this is a light Cahill. Couldn't tell you if it's definitely light Cahill because the label's dropped off the end of the bobbin, so you'll just have to trust me on that. Right, so I'll just put a layer of thread down. And I'm going to catch in a rib of gold tinsel. And this is the stuff. And catch the rib in the full length of the body. Okay. Try and keep that on the underside of the hook. We're going to take that down to around about halfway around the bend. When you're tying in multiple materials, the last material that you're going to bring back up the hook, you should always tie that one in first. And so on until you get to your first one. So the next thing I want to tie in is some scud back. It's this stuff. It's like a mottled effect. It's got a card backing on it. You just cut it into strips like this and just remove the backing. So I'm going to cut that into a point to reduce the amount of material at the tie-in point. When you tie this in, you need to get it so that it's in line with the hook, because we're going to bring it up. I'm going to bring it up so that it lies on the back of the hook like that, so you need to try and get it in line. And the next material is some thin skin. Now, this is a clear one. I prefer the clear stuff to the coloured. If you use the cleared, you can change the colour of the underbodies by just changing the colour of your thread. Whereas if you use a darker one, you're restricted to the amount of variations you can make. So we'll cut that into a point as well. Catch that in. Now we're just going to build the body up. And you want to try and get a sort of a taper shape. It doesn't have to necessarily be in a taper because a caddis has got quite a fat body. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. Just as long as there's no lumps and bumps. But your thin skin will cover up most of them anyway, even if you have some. Okay, right. Now we'll bring the thin skin up. Now when you do this, when you bring this up, stretch it slightly and overlap your previous wrap. slightly as well. Obviously the further you get up the hook, the more you're going to be overwrapping the previous wrap. Okay, when you're happy with the shape, tie it off. I must tighten up this bobbin. You get an excess of thread hanging at the end. Okay, right, trim that off. Now take the screw back, lay it on the back of the hook, and just tie it in with a couple of loose wraps just to position it. And when you're happy with how tight it is and the position, you can tighten down and remove the waste. One tip: if you have small amounts of these little bits of screwed back and you don't want to lose them on your bench, put them in one of these electrical clips or fly tying clips, and it stops you losing it. And the stuff's expensive enough without throwing it away. Right, now we're going to bring the rib up. One turn at the back, and then try to ensure that the thin skin, the screwed back, stays in position on the back of the hook. You can just hold it with your finger each time you do a wrap, which is a good way of keeping it in position. And with your ribs, with each wrap of your rib, just increase this size of the spacing, and you want about 4 to 5 turns. Thread back and tie that off. Remove that, and then I'm finished with that thread now, so I'll just do a quick whip finish. Remove the thread. Now if you were using a wire for the rib, you could just leave it at that, but the tinsel is a little bit fragile, so I like to coat it with a resin. Now I know some thin skins you can have a reaction with some resins or varnishes because it rots them, but with this stuff I've got, it doesn't make any difference whatsoever. In fact, I've got caddis that I tied years ago, and 2 or 3 years ago, and they're the same condition now as what they were when I tied them. Let's just trial and error, I suppose. Okay, I'll set that with a torch. You could do away with the thin skin altogether and just use varnish with the thread, or resin with the thread. But I think the thin skin gives it a bit more translucency than without. Okay, right, now I'm going to change the thread and use, this is Uni 8O in black. You can use olive or brown, just caddis pupas the thorax tends to be a darker colour than the body, so this is just so that the thread wraps don't show as much. Right, so I'm just going to bring that to there, and then we're going to make some eyes. For the eyes I'm using £30 mono. It's just clear mono, and I just cut the piece off about about 2 centimetres long, and pop it in a pair of tweezers like that. Just centralise it in the tweezers, and then with a lighter just offer up the mono to the flame. Don't put the mono right into the flame, just offer it up, and you'll find that it just creates a nice little ball as it melts. And as it gets near to your tweezers, just give it a blow and that'll set it. Okay, I'll just give that a second to set. And then we're going to position them just on the top of the hook. Oh, that was clever. Thread's just snapped. 2 seconds. Take that off, get rid of that, and start again. Okay, so we'll start again. I'll just reattach the thread. You just create a little thread down there just to stop the eyes going forward. Okay. Yeah, just position them. And just a couple of loose wraps. And then get them into position. Okay, if you're happy with where they are, the position. Little dab of super glue. Now, next thing is screw back. This is in a cinnamon colour. This is for the thorax cover. And when you want to put materials on, you want to try and get them to lie on the top of the hook. Just offer it up to the side, and then the thread wrap should take it into position. Like that. Just wrap back. Just check your position of it. A bit further. When you're happy with the position of the wing case, I'm now going to put some wings in, or an impression of some wings, I should say. We're going to use raffia. It's I'm going to find a bit. There's a piece there. Get this at the florist, so well, you can buy it online really. And you just want a thin single strand, about 1 or 2 strands, it's not that critical. And we just offer that up to the side and tie it in. Length isn't critical at the moment, you can trim that down later. This wants to be around about 5mm wide as well. and do the same on the other side. And get it into position. Okay, I'll trim that off. Now I just want some dubbing. I'm going to use, this is it's fiery brown seals fur. Use whatever dubbing you want really. Like I say, most caddis of the thorax is darker than the body. So as long as you've got a contrast, it's okay. You could do a light olive body and a dark olive thorax, as long as there's a contrast. Okay, right, so if you've got a rotary vise, turn it over at this stage. Just reposition the hook. If you haven't got a rotary vise, just turn your hook upside down. Now the next thing we want is some deer hair, some natural deer hair, and you want around about a dozen or so strands. Just put that in the stacker. You don't have to stack it. Okay, now the length of the legs wants to be around about 1.5 times the length of the thorax. So we just do a pinch and loop and another one. Tighten up, another couple of wraps. Bring the ends forward and do a couple of wraps behind. While you've got hold of the ends, trim them off as close as you can. And if you've got any still left, just tighten it with thread slightly and give it a tug and it'll just pop off. Then just wrap through the cut ends a couple of times. Back over, a little bit more dubbing. Now we're going to bring this scud back over, do a couple of wraps just behind the eyes, and then bring your thread between the eyes and behind the eye of the hook. Pull the scud back tight and tie it down. Then bring your eyes back between your eyes. Bring your thread back between the eyes. Hold back the scud back and another couple of wraps. And then you need to do a whip finish. Do the whip finish behind the eyes. Just popped off nicely. Now just trim off the scud back, and with some resin on the thread wraps. And you can put a coat onto the scud back as well, just to create a nice looking wing cover. set out. Put my resin away before I spill it and it all goes everywhere. Now, last thing to do is to get rid of all the bits of dubbing that are sticking out everywhere. I quite like a rough looking fly. I think a fish is better than one that's all nice and tidy. But obviously you get some which are far too long that you don't want. Just cut them out. Okay, so the last thing to do is to just round off these pieces of, these bits of they're called raffia for the wings. Now you can spend all day doing this. As long as it looks neat and you're happy with it, then that's fine. Okay, that looks okay. So that's it. So I hope you enjoyed that, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, thanks, bye.